9 verses 232. Thera 9.1. Buddha. Adapted from the archaic translation by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Buddha. Reborn in this Buddha age in a suburb of the city of Saketa as the son of a wealthy counselor, he was the last and only surviving child, the others having been devoured by a hostile Yakha. He was therefore well guarded, but the demon had meanwhile gone to wait on Vesava and came back no more. On the child's naming day he was called Buddha, for they said, "May compassionate non-humans protect him." He by virtue of his merit having grown up without accident, reared with 3 residences as was Yasa, went, when the Lord came to Saketa, with other laymen to the Vihara and heard the path. Entering the monk's order, he went to live in a cave on the banks of the river Ajakara. There he won arahantship. Thereafter, he visited his relatives out of kindness to them, staying himself in the Anjana wood. When they asked him to stay, urging that this would result in mutual benefit, the Thera, declaring his love for and happiness in the monastic life, spoke these lines before he left them. When the wise man has grasped, that age and death, yes, all, to which the undiscerning world folk cling is pain. And pain thus understanding, lives with mind intent. And wrapped in ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. When the fell poisoner he has banned who brings pain. Even craving, who did sweep him towards the pain. A being prisoned in the web of many things. Obsessed, and he delivered lives with mind intent. And wrapped in ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. When by insight he sees the happy omened path. Twice fourfold, ultimate, that purifies from all that did defile, and seeing, lives with mind intent. Wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. When work of thought makes real and true the way of peace. From sorrow free, untarnished, and uncorrelate, cleansing from all that did defile, and severing from every bond and chain, and the monk sits wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. When in the lowering sky thunders the storm cloud's drum, and all the pathways of the birds are thick with rain, the monk sits within the hollow of the hills, wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. Or when by rivers on whose banks together crowd garlands of woodland flowers bright with many a hue. With heart serene the monk sits upon the strand, wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No higher bliss is given to men than this. Or when at dead of night in lonely wood God reigns, and beasts of fang and tusk raven and cry aloud. The monk sits within the hollow of the hills, wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No greater bliss is given to men than this. When he has checked the mind's discursive restlessness, and to the mountain's bosom hies and in some cave sits sheltered, free from fear and from impediment, wrapped in an ecstasy of thought. No greater bliss is given to men than this. When he in healthful ease remains, abolisher of stain and stumbling stone and woe, open to peace the portals of the mind, lust-free, immune from dart, yes, all intoxicants become as nothing, and thus, wrapped in an ecstasy of thought, no greater bliss is given to men than this.